Megatron combines brute strength, military cunning, ruthlessness, and terror. He aches to return to Cybertron to complete the Decepticon conquest, but only after destroying all Autobots on Earth. In order to do so, Megatron plans to possess all of Earth's resources. Incredibly powerful and intelligent, he fires a particle beam from his fusion cannon, and can link up interdimensionally to a black hole and draw antimatter from it for use as a weapon. Megatron has no known weakness. Megatron is one of the oldest living Transformers, certainly one of the most famous, or infamous, depending on your allegiance. Megatron's origins vary from telling to telling, whether he begins as a gladiator, political revolutionary, or hero of the working class. Megatron ultimately craves power above all else. In many tellings, he begins as an idealist who inspires the lower class to rise up against oppression, only to lose his way as time passes, eventually only being motivated by selfish vengeance. Those who don't join him or stand in his way are nothing more than cannon fodder. Megatron is without mercy. In our original telling, he is nothing more than a pure villain, ruthless to the end, obsessed with gaining total domination of the universe. There have been many versions of Transformers over the last 40 years. The majority of them involve a struggle between a version of Megatron and Optimus Prime, if not their descendants. His many transformations include a tank, Tyrannosaurus Rex, dragon, wolf, alligator, alien spaceship, jet fighter, blaster pistol, helicopter, and even a truck like Optimus Prime. The one thing he'll never turn into again is a realistic handgun. Not in America, anyway. Before Transformers began, Megatron's original toy was one of 3 changing gun robo-figures from Takara's Microchange line. Soon, American parents could buy this believable gun for their children. Mom, Dad, I love you both for all the questionable choices you have made for me. When the Decepticon revolution began, there were contradictory rumors swirling among the Autobots about the new war machines everyone was talking about. Some saw them as heroes, others shared stories, rumors of unspeakable ruthless acts in other regions. At an energy reclamation center, a young Autobot named Orion Pax thought he'd met his hero the day Megatron arrived. After a near-fatal blast from Megatron's cannon, Orion Pax needed emergency repairs to survive. It was the wise elder, Alpha Trion, who rebuilt him to be the first of a new warrior race of Autobots, strong enough to fight the Decepticons. With that, Optimus Prime was born, the first ever to stand up to Megatron and survive. The grudge between the two icons burns eternally.
I would have waited an eternity for this. It's over, Prime.
And welcome back. Now, let's begin our next episode. This is episode 4, Transport to Oblivion. Just a little recap at the end of the last episode. Our heroes were about to go home to Cybertron on a rocket that they were building, and they were going to go home with Spike and his dad. When the show first aired, it was, needless to say, a huge hit. And before they even aired it, they had already decided that they were going to do a full season. As a wise man once said,
as the weeks went on, so did the cartoons.
As most things, when one thing goes from pilot to series, there tends to be some changes along the way. So we just sort of have to pretend that rocket ship never existed, and the Autobots have been sort of just hanging out on Earth, waiting for something to happen. Without further ado, transport to Oblivion.
4 million years ago, creatures from the planet Cybertron crash-landed on Earth. Mechanical creatures of great technical sophistication, Autobots.
Cliffjumper freaks the f out and shoots at a rock next to the base that seems to look just like Starscream. Nobody has noticed this until now.
Sorry, guys, but it kind of looked like a Decepticon.
Decepticon? Ha! We sent those oversized tin cans to the bottom of the sea months ago. Yep, the Decepticons are gone for good. Right, Optimus? I wish I could believe that, Ironhide.
The Decepticons are alive and well at the bottom of the ocean. The wreckage of the Victory now serves as their underwater lair.
The Autobots think they have defeated us. And yet we survive.
Meanwhile, back on Cybertron, we catch up with Shockwave, who is all but out of energy. The entire planet is starving to death, and has been since the Autobots and Decepticons first departed.
Megatron! Planet Cybertron to Megatron! Are you there, Megatron? It can't be! Shockwave, guardian of Cybertron! Megatron, our new intergalactic transport system is almost complete. Excellent. We'll suck this Earth planet dry!
Turn your tape player down, will you?
Once again, a group of people dressed just like Spike and his father fall for Soundwave's disguise. Almost every civilian you see in Season 1 is dressed like Spike and his father, no matter where they work. It's almost like they didn't have time or money to design diverse crowds. Weird.
Well done! Begin production of Energon cubes!
The Decepticons arrive and plunder energy, as always. Meanwhile, the Autobots' vacation is about to come to an abrupt end.
Get down! Oh, look out!
Oh no! A traffic jam! Everybody's leaving the buildings!
Blackout City. We better check in with Autobot headquarters. What could be causing it? Teletran, survey the local power stations.
Order acknowledged.
The Autobots learn the mass power outages are caused by the Decepticon attack.
The solar power station. Megatron lives. Ratchet,
Prime assembles the troops.
Jumper, Gears. Over half our force is out on patrol.
Bumblebee is lagging behind.
Bumblebee reporting for duty. You're late again.
Autobots, transform! Roll out for the power station! Autobots!
The Autobots arrive, having climbed the building, I guess.
Prime!
Prime and Megatron have it out, as they always do.
Good move, Optimus! But nothing! Thanks for the power boost, Prime! Fire! Optimus!
The Decepticons escape once again.
This terminal will have to be totally R&R'd.
R&R'd?
Removed and rebuilt.
Prime has a mission for Bumblebee.
Bumblebee, I want you to spy on the Decepticons.
Hey, I want to go along. Can I, Bumblebee?
What can possibly go wrong? Megatron and Shockwave establish each other's relative position, just in time for sci-fi exposition.
Our new intergalactic transport system will establish a space bridge between Earth and Cybertron.
Excellent!
But the space bridge will be operable for a maximum of 11 minutes.
We will be ready.
We're getting nowhere fast. How are we gonna spy on the Decepticons if we can't even find them?
Let's drive down into that riverbed. At least we'll be shaded from the sun.
You got it.
Our heroes spot the Decepticons on a whim.
Decepticons.
Let's see what they're doing.
They arrive in time for more vital exposition.
Prepare for the test run, Shockwave. The space bridge will open in 5 seconds.
Test aborted. No sign of vehicle.
Your space bridge is worthless. I
I will find a way to transport the cubes. You will do nothing! The vehicle just needs guidance over the space bridge.
We'd better get back to headquarters.
Right.
Spike and Bumblebee try to escape, but slide backwards into the clutches of their enemies.
Bumblebee!
Spies! Destroy them! Do not harm them! What? They have just volunteered for the next trip over the space bridge.
Wow, Bumblebee's totally boned, huh? Anyway, beginning of the episode we talked about Megatron, but the thing I didn't mention was Frank Welker, the man behind his voice. And if you don't know anything about Frank Welker, let me tell you, this is one guy who has an impressive career.
So, here we stand, leaders of the Autobots and Decepticons. We alone control the future of this planet Earth and the universe beyond. We can share the power and the destiny of all that lies before us.
The list is so long, in fact, we're only going to name a fraction of his roles. But going all the way back to the original Scooby-Doo, he was the voice of Freddy Jones as well as Scooby-Doo himself.
Did you guys find any clues?
He has served as the voice of Curious George, as well as Azrael from the Smurfs. On The Simpsons, he's the voice of Santa's little helper, the family dog. On Futurama, he voices Nibbler.
He doesn't seem to be on the checklist.
So you saying we can cook them?
Yeah, barbecue. I'll wear my hilarious apron.
No, I don't care how hilarious your apron is. We're not cooking him. Aww, I'll call him Nibbler.
Aww. I'll fire up the grill.
Both versions of Nibbler.
The poop eradication is but one aspect of your importance.
Did you just talk?
Indeed. And I have other amazing powers as well.
Like what?
From 2008 to present day, he is the voice of Garfield.
I'd be pacing back and forth impatiently, but it's easier to have Odie do it for me.
Apparently, he was also Bullseye in the Toy Story movies. In Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey, one of my all-time guilty pleasures, he provides the voice for the Easter Bunny.
Theodore! You made your little brother cry!
You stole Deacon's Easter basket!
Satan.
So, okay. Can we go now?
And Station, the alien scientists.
Station!
He's also listed as Martian voices from Mars Attacks. I think we all know what that means. Fans of the real Ghostbusters will be pleased to know that he provides the voice for both Ray Stantz and Slimer.
Say something, Slimer.
Again, that's not listing the many credits he has as special vocal effects or animal effects. For decades in Hollywood, Welker has been the go-to guy when an animal sound is needed and no known recording can be found.
Great. Yeah, that was good.
Now this is how you make a lion's roar. And it's better with a waste paper basket. You put your head in her. And you can do underwater sounds like this. You just take your finger and put it in between your lips. Underwater. Hogs or pigs.
Classic G.I. Joe fans would recognize his voice as playing roles such as Torch, Wild Bill, Polly, Junkyard, Horror Show, Copperhead, Freedom, and Short Fuse. In the Transformers, he was Skywarp, Rumble, Frenzy, Ravage, Buzzsaw, Laserbeak, Galvatron, Mixmaster, Sludge, Wheelie, Sweep, Trailbreaker, Mirage, Blades, Groove, Sharkticons, Chrome Dome, Pinpointer, and Steeljaw. That's a lot. Oh, and of course, how could I forget? He's also the voice of Soundwave.
Damage, eject, operation, retrieval.
Every now and then you hear Soundwave speak, and they forgot to put a filter on his voice.
Excellent Ravage.
That's when you can hear the voice of Dr. Claw, the villain from Inspector Gadget, another character that Frank Welker is famous for voicing.
I'll get you next time, Gadget. Next time.
However, when it comes to memorable Transformer characters, the raspy evil voice of Megatron takes the prize.
But anyhow, so I took some of that and then put a little bass to it. I am Megatron, leader of the Decepticons. And now through time, that character's actually evolved out of where it was based on what the needs are now. With the CGI Transformers Prime show, they wanted a little bit different take, so you keep the basis for it. And he's here, but then he's kind of getting into this range. A little different sound. And then we get into the motion picture. And now he becomes Galvatron. Even better and even more bass. And I love doing Galvatron.
Load the prisoners.
Spike and Bumblebee are forced to ride the space bridge back to Cybertron.
Yes, you will go down in Cybertron history.
Sorry, Spike. It looks like we've run out of time.
So has Megatron! Look!
After much build-up, the Decepticons drop the ball, missing the narrow window. At the last minute, a series of events unfold that still blows my mind to this day. I'll just let it play out.
I wish our luck would change.
Change? That's it!
We're free! They're escaping!
Ravage, eject, operation capture.
Don't worry about me, Bumblebee! Wheel out! Go!
Okay, so let me get this straight. Bumblebee didn't remember that he was a robot that could transform into a car until Spike said the word. And then he transformed into a car to escape, leaving the human behind, who only had legs to run on.
Spike's okay. I shouldn't have left him alone.
Okay. Bumblebee fails to escape just the same.
Looks big enough. Uh-oh.
My null ray will stop your squirming for a while.
Once I've altered his memory chips, he will lead the Autobots to their doom.
Something's happened to Spike and Bumblebee. We've got to get...
Bumblebee returns to Autobot base. Having had his memory altered, he gives them misleading information.
Spike was captured by the Decepticons. They're gonna send him to Cybertron over some kind of space bridge.
What is the location of this bridge?
The bridge?
Yes?
The bridge is located in a cave 96.4 miles from the highway.
And Spike? Is he there too?
The Autobots act really gullible, because the plot needs them to.
Then there's no time to waste. We must go to the cave and destroy this space bridge immediately.
Laserbeak, report.
Then there's no time to waste. We must go to the cave and destroy the space bridge immediately.
And we'll have a surprise waiting for them when they arrive.
Autobots, transform. And move in.
The Autobots walk into the Decepticon trap.
No space bridge? No nothing.
I don't understand it.
I think your memory chips could use a few volts to shake them up.
So we were expected here after all.
And I insist that you stay forever!
And now a word from our sponsor, Space Bridges. From The Wizard of Oz, Alice in Wonderland, Peter Pan, to The Chronicles of Narnia, whether it moves the characters from one end of the map to the other, or serves as a gateway from the mundane into a magical new world, fast travel has long been a staple of sci-fi and fantasy stories. The Space Bridge is a form of interplanetary transport, allowing transformers to move from one planet to another almost instantaneously, without the need for a spacecraft, via a shortcut through the extra-dimensional realm of trans-warp space. Early models required machinery at both ends of the bridge to open a stable dimensional portal. But later iterations of the technology consisted of only a generator at the departure point, which could open bridges to the desired location without the need of a receiver on the other end. As seen in this episode, the Space Bridge was apparently first conceived by Shockwave in 1984. However, other tellings of Transformer lore depicts the Space Bridges as being part of their ancient society. The Space Bridges were all shut down and dismantled due to events such as the outbreak of the Great War, or the spread of the fatal and highly contagious disease, cosmic rust. The separation between Cybertron and its colony worlds only fueled xenophobia and never-ending warfare. Also, depending on the story, space bridges vary in scale and purpose. Some are giant rings in space made to move starships and fleets over a great distance. Others are used on a terrestrial scale, such as ground bridges that allow landlocked Autobots to keep up with flying Decepticons across planet Earth. Space bridges have also rarely been used to bring Cybertron closer to Earth, with disastrous consequences, of course. In other stories, they malfunction, allowing adventures to take place in parallel dimensions and unexpected new worlds. Of course, the strangest interpretation of space bridges would have to go to Marvel Comics. In this version of the story, space bridge technology was invented by an ancient Autobot scientist named Spanner. Spanner was abducted by the Decepticons and forced against his will to help them build their own. The bridge they used took the form of a literal bridge that would move through space-time while its riders would stand upon it. When Autobot Resistance leader Blaster and his team of commandos came to Earth, it was with the help of Spanner himself, who was long believed to have been dead. Spanner revealed himself to have been retrofitted by the Decepticons to become the literal space bridge, his eternal prison. Spooky. We now return to robots shooting at each other. The battle is interrupted by Shockwave.
Megatron! The space bridge is about to open! Excellent! We'll be there! Take off for the riverbed!
The Decepticons escape, leaving the Autobots trapped behind.
Hey, Bumblebee, looks like you could use...
During repairs, Ratchet discovers something is wrong with Bumblebee.
A bank of Bumblebee's memory chips has been altered.
Bumblebee, the space bridge. Where did you see it?
I remember now! The riverbed in the desert!
With newfound determination, Optimus Prime leads his troops to escape.
You will be riding on a beam of light. Concentrate on the beam, or you will fly off into the cold, dark void and cease to exist.
Trippy advice indeed.
Commence transport.
As Spike is about to depart, the Autobots arrive in time.
Take cover before they attack!
Iron-Eye! The Energon cubes! Don't worry. I'll blow them up to Cybertron as dust.
Stop! Spike's in that thing!
I got him into this mess. I'll get him out!
I'll assist you, Bumblebee.
Okay, sure.
Hurry, Spike! Jump!
Imagine if they did that the first time.
Prepare
Prepare to fire!
With Megatron's plan foiled, he races to get the Energon cubes across the space bridge before it's too late. Things literally blow up in his face. The Decepticons escape with Starscream assuming command, apparently. The Autobots assume they've won, and the cycle of Prime's doubt continues.
This is the happiest day of my life! Megatron fell into his own space bridge! He's lost forever!
I wish I could believe that.
Meanwhile, in a twist ending that surprises absolutely no one...
Megatron! What happened? The Autobots robbed me of my victory, but they have not seen the last of Megatron. I shall be avenged.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, is Transport to Oblivion. Now, as I said last time, the people that made this cartoon, they did their absolute best with the amount of time and the amount of money they had, and it would be extremely rude and callous and kind of immature to make fun of all the mistakes they made. So let's look at all the mistakes they made. Okay, so right after Cliffjumper decides to carry on like a horse's ass, Optimus Prime responds to something that Ironhide says, and it makes him have this ponderous moment. So he walks off to the side, and you notice the Autobot base is right near the ocean. But it's usually in the desert. We never see it by the ocean. Ever. Except there's this one time that I forgot to mention in the last episode, where we pull back from the Ark, and there's this waterfall. And this is the only time I've ever seen the waterfall. So if you've seen the waterfall in another episode, and you're one of my 40 subscribers, please, by all means, speak up. Thank you. So when Shockwave reaches out to Megatron on Earth, they've got this weird yellow overlay to kind of give it a glowing effect. But in this shot here, he backs up and it doesn't line up all the time. Not a big deal, but I noticed. There's this cool little melting blast when the Decepticons break through this door here. But as Skywarp runs through, he's followed by Starscream, and notice in the very corner of the frame, Starscream's leg just sticks there for a second. Nitpicky, but Megatron's mouth is all over the place. Megatron is speaking Shockwave's line.
Test run number 2 aborted.
That's just sad. Bumblebee climbs an inverted cave wall while leaning forward. I just don't get the physics of this. Laserbeak is supposed to be perched on a rock here, but in the wide shot you can see the little dot. He's just sort of drifting out in the middle of nowhere. Silly.
Stand back, Bumblebee! It's my turn at bat!
It should go without saying, but this just isn't how lasers work. This right here isn't even error. They meant to do that. What the hell is that? Why? Ugh. I hate when anyone has a weapon or an ability that just shows up the one time when they need it. Megatron has a fusion cannon that links up with black holes, but instead, he fires this circular saw that he found in your dad's basement. It's about as effective as you think it would be. So stupid. So Starscream blasts an opening back open in the cave so that everyone can escape. Megatron yells out for all the Decepticons to follow him, and they all go out the hole, but none of the Autobots they were just fighting with follow him. They all just stand where they were, and over a very long sequence of time, the Decepticons fly away, Starscream and Megatron have some dialogue, having a little more dialogue, still talking, transforms, then he shoots, then they cave in, and no Autobot made an effort to run out the hole of that cave. I'm gonna call bullshit on that. I really like Transformers, but I'm calling bullshit on that. The 80s were indeed a different time, and Megatron chose to play this scene in full blackface. His eyes are the right color of red, but in this next shot here they messed that up and all of a sudden his eyes are blue. Optimus Prime is standing on the canyon wall to the left side of this vehicle. He shoots downward, and his blast hits the right side of the vehicle and then shoots across from the right to the left, undoing his straps. Again, I'm calling bullshit, but I still like Transformers. We see 2 shots in a row with Starscream and Skywarp painted as Starscream, and then when they fly away, Skywarp's the right color. Truly riveting stuff. Tell your friends at parties. Impress the shit out of them. Oh well, hopefully they'll do better next time. And speaking of next time, I'm hoping that you will join me for episode 5, Roll For It. So please come back, subscribe, share with friends, and before you go, if you ever have to travel through the cold void of space, just remember what our friend Megatron said.
You will be riding on a beam of light. Concentrate on the beam, or you will fly off into the cold, dark void and cease to exist.
One shall stand, and one shall fall.
So be it. Power through tyranny!
I will never give up hope that one day we will all stand as one. Until then, Autobots, roll out!
Thank you all for being so nice. Thank you, Liverpool. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, please keep it going for the amazing